Hello. Welcome to Pod Maverick. My name is Kirk Henderson. I am joined not by Josh Bowe, but by Mavs Moneyball contributor, new guy this year, Matthew Martinez. Matt, how are you tonight?
Hey, doing great, man. How are you?
I'm all right, and we're joining you here live. It's about it's right 10 o'clock, an even time for once. The Dallas Mavericks just detonated on the San Antonio Spurs, 144-119, and that 25-point margin victory really doesn't do justice to how badly they beat the crap out of the Spurs. I missed the first half of the game because I was at Zoo Lights. I didn't tell Josh that I was going to Zoo Lights. And then while in the zoo, Josh told me he had the opportunity to go see Godzilla -1. And I would just basically was like, yes, absolutely. Go do that thing. So Matthew is stepping up here to help us because he watched more of the game than I did, even though I did catch most of the second half. Are you seriously just going to sit here and bark at me? I know I wasn't here for a while.
Making a full appearance on the pod.
Right. Yeah. Huck normally, where is he? Let's see if we can. Hey, but there he is. There's Huck. Live reaction. Watching I came down, or I was like doing kid bedtime stuff, and I saw the score was 72-66. And I'm sitting here thinking, oh man, Wemby must be having a hell of a game. And so what the hell happened? That? Tell me what happened in the first half. What went on there?
First of all, what must it be like right now to be the ball boy whose foot Wemby landed on in pregame shoot around? I mean, Christmas is canceled, right?
I don't, they put it up on ESPN that like, oh, he stepped on the ball boy's foot. And it's like, how about just be honest? How about tell us you didn't want him to play? And at this point, you're kind of looking for reasons for him to not play.
Right. He only played 22 minutes in their last one. And they said something about minutes restrictions going into this one. So, yeah, it looked like any little bad gust of wind was gonna take him out.
I mean, not to talk shit on the Spurs. Fuck that. Absolutely, to talk trash on the Spurs. I hate the Spurs. They have horrendous vibes if you've watched any of their games, to the point to where I am just truly baffled at some of the decisions that Wemby's teammates make with regards to him. They don't pass him the ball sometimes. And then there's just like, I mean, what did they won 4 games? I mean, when we played them on opening night, they looked pretty good. They really did. They looked functional. And I thought something, and so it feels like they're just trying to slog through this season, get another lottery pick and figure out how to get out of it. But over the course of it, you learn bad habits. I mean, like what do they have? Like Sohan is awful. Watching that guy play basketball makes me angry. He's like if Grant Williams was our second best player and got all this freedom to do garbage.
He's really like if Grant Williams was a ball handler. Yeah. He's not the best vibe player. I do like Devin Vassell on their team. He did not have a great night tonight. But I guess if we're talking about the first half,
tell me what happened.
I guess the Spurs go on a little run in the first quarter. I guess no. It was 19-16 Spurs in the first quarter, and then we're halfway through the quarter, and Dallas goes on a 24-10 run to end the quarter. Right. Well, it's and now we're in the second quarter, and the Spurs get on a little run of their own. They outscore the Mavs. It was a 3-minute stretch early in the second quarter. They outscore the Mavs 21-12. To make it close again, and then it's close close all the way to halftime. And then if basketball is a game of runs, the lethal run was the Mavs in the third quarter, obviously. Mavs got another. They did notch another 40-point 40-point quarter in the first. Those are always fun to see. And I'm kind of all over the place right now, but
right.
I'm going to lock in on the Mavs 24-10 run to end the first quarter.
Okay.
So the run starts with two Derek Jones Jr.'s 3-pointers. And I see this tweet kind of at the same time as he hits these two 3-pointers that he now has 43 3-pointers at that point in the game on the season. And that tied his career high in a season. And you know, and which brings to mind to me, Luka magic is not ridiculous highlight plays. That right there, my friend, is Luka magic.
It's raising a guy's floor beyond I mean, I want to say Derek Jones Jr. has played like 27 games, maybe 28. He missed one for sure. He might have missed more than that. So to like get to that point in basically a third of the season is laugh out loud funny. I don't know what to do with that one. So somebody in the from Twitter came in here and said, "Did I just hear you say that Sohan sucks?" For clarification, Sohan sucks. All right. Just wanted to get that out. Just so we're clear. Anyway,
yeah.
And so keep going with what episode so they closed the quarter well. You're feeling good about the fact they're up 11 points. They look real. What the hell happened in the second?
The Spurs actually, despite not shooting the 3-pointer well this year in general, they started 9 for 19 from 3 tonight. And then they remembered, oh yeah, we're the Spurs. And then they went 2 for 12 from beyond the arc after the 9 for 19 start. So, they remembered that we don't shoot the ball well. Luka seemed to this is a nightly occurrence, and what I'm really proud of Mavs fans about is we, as a group, we don't seem to be taking what Luka is doing on a nightly basis for granted. There seems to be a whole heck of a lot of people, if you're on Twitter or whatever, people's jaws are on the floor every game, and that's the way it should be. He went into God mode. He gets to 39 points before Kirk even gets home from Zoo Lights. I
was home. He was, so he had 25 at the half, as I understand it. And that 25 at the half did he pass Jason Terry for 6 on the all-time scoring in that?
Was that in the first half? I believe it was in the first half. Yeah. I don't remember exactly when the moment was.
I think that's right, because I came back to like 7 Slack messages. Should I post the thing about him passing Jason Terry? To my fellow editors who don't listen to this, yes, post news. I'm not going to be mad at you. So that was it was interesting. They posted a stat. Luka is fun to talk about. So let's talk about Luka, because I think these 2 games are just a fun reminder of why he's in the MVP conversation. I say these 2 games because he didn't play against the Rockets, and the Mavericks had a barf offense so bad that I opted out of podcasting with Josh Bowe. I was like, I cannot talk about this game. I hate this game so much. And then he comes back tonight, has 39 points. Let's see, what other statistics did he have?
Sitting against Houston was as good of an argument for Luka MVP as 39 points in 3 quarters against San Antonio.
A plus 37 in 32 minutes is laugh out loud hilarious. Yeah. 12 boards, 10 assists. He probably could have had a few more, had some things gone his way. I mean, Luka just controls the game from start to finish. It was really something. I really wish you would have gotten to see him play against Wemby, though, just because watching Luka play against really good defensive bigs is a reminder of just how good Luka can be. But also, it's fun to watch bigs not like swat him. It's not like I want like Luka to get swatted, but every now and again when he gets when he gets his stuff thrown back at him, it like works as a challenge in his favor. So it's pretty neat. Passing Jason Terry for 6th all time in scoring for the franchise is pretty ridiculous. Jason Terry obviously played for the Mavericks for a number of years. We're talking about Luka in his 6th season. He's already passed Dirk in some things that took Dirk a whole career to do. I'm not sure if you caught that 30-point triple-double stat that the Bally Sports broadcast showed. So since 2018, so Luka's rookie year, Luka has something like 36 for 30-point triple-doubles, and Jokic has 10 fewer. Giannis only has 13. So the scoring element of what he brings to the Mavericks is needed in a way that I don't know is really properly contextualized compared to some of his peers, because you see it in then like the Rockets game last night. Dallas couldn't score. They just can't score. And obviously Dante Exum has been a revelation with these Mavericks, and he didn't play last night either. But it was just it's wild watching Luka and the Lukettes, which was what a lot of these games have been. I'm sorry if that's disrespectful to other guys, but when Kyrie Irving and Derek Lively are out, that's kind of what it is.
It is.
And so it's been really fun to see him come through, a game like tonight, where during that third quarter, which I caught most of, he's just otherworldly at times. And Josh and I have been trying to talk about him more because we realized we had sort of been downplaying just how ridiculous he is, because you run out of things to say, I think, is part of it. That's okay. But I don't know. This season, it feels early. I think Joel Embiid might have sort of wrapped up the MVP at this point if he keeps playing like this. But Luka's gonna be like the guy up there hanging with him over a long enough timeline. I really believe that.
Yeah, it was something somebody had put in our Slack a few days ago. That was the ESPN straw poll for MVP at the whatever it was. It was earlier this week.
Right.
And of course, Embiid was the leader in the clubhouse. I was surprised that Luka, in their little straw poll, whatever their methods were, was fifth.
It's so narrative driven, and they even talk about that on the Hoop Collective podcast, because at this point last season, Embiid didn't have any votes because he just hadn't played enough. I think the Luka will resolve itself over time, particularly if Kyrie has to miss more time, which I think he will. I hope and think Kyrie comes back on Christmas just because the Mavericks need him. But I think that, if I want Luka to win MVP just for the sake of sort of silencing the people who can't stand him. But if he doesn't ever win one, but the Mavericks win a championship, that's going to be what's important to me.
Right.
It's a silly, I don't know, maybe not silly. I mean, I make the point and I will repeat it until the day that Luka retires. But right now, in his sixth year, Luka could be Thanos snapped out of existence and he would go into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame. He has that kind of resume. And anybody that 100%. Argues with and I get people that argue with me because a lot of people are idiots and forget that we're not just talking about NBA stuff. We're talking about his international career too. But he's also made four straight All-NBA first teams, and he's cruising towards a fifth at this point. It's preposterous. He's just that good at basketball.
And with 11 more points, he'll be officially on the list, having 10,000 career points. He will be officially at third in NBA history in points per game. I mean, that's per game, so it's not like as prestigious as the points title, but getting to 10,000 points is important because that's another arrow in your quiver for that argument.
I didn't know that. That's really interesting. And yeah, again, I was at Zoo Lights tonight, so I've missed some things.
You made me think of one thing that
Sure.
I just want to ask you about, because you're looking at injury reports before the game, and I believe that Lively and Kyrie were moved from definitely out to questionable before this game.
Oh, really?
Do you think that bodes well for Christmas?
Yes. I believe that the NBA executive office asks teams to make sure that they play in these marquee games, if at all possible. And so it's like, why Luka sat out against the Rockets. Let's make sure that our guy doesn't die, because Luka was up until tonight. Luka was second. He was averaging the second most minutes per game, I think, in the NBA, which is nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Luka freaking Doncic. That's pretty amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Before we pivot to kind of the other stuff, the other guys, because there's some other, I think pretty fun elements to this game, and then a stretch in the fourth quarter, which had Jason Kidd lose his mind. I was cackling. I need to do my nightly shill, which would be, if you have any opportunity to head down and hit the like on the stream, I would appreciate it. Josh and I have had a interesting kind of year and a half with this show where we've had grown and had setbacks. We've had to move networks. None of that is anybody's concern, but we have a lot of loyal listeners, and being able to spread this show to more people who might be interested. Liking helps because it puts it on people's radar. While you're there, if you would consider subscribing, we're at a little over 22, almost 2,200 subs. I have a goal of 5,000 for the year, but that seems ridiculous. Probably not going to get there. But that's okay. If you leave comments on this particular video once it's done and posted live, I would appreciate it. There's one guy who always posts after every game about how handsome we are. Big shout out to that guy. I keep telling him I have a face. I keep telling him I have a face for radio, but he's not interested in that. And so I will get back to doing more fan participation shows. Cause I mean, again, me and Matt and, to a lesser extent, Josh is you're an actual journalist. You worked at the Fort Worth Star Telegram with Josh way back in the day.
I'm a recovering journalist. Yeah.
But we're fans. We like the Mavericks. I think it's safe to say that. So when I say a fan participation show, I mean more than just my Mavs Moneyball staff. We host those after a fair number of games. I'm not going to do one tonight because I'm not sure there's what's going to say. But after the Christmas game here on Monday, I will definitely host one, even if it goes into the wee hours in the morning. So I want you to subscribe and join those shows. And I really appreciate everybody's support this year. Okay, so what else is kind of worth talking about in this game? What was interesting to you that you think might be? Go ahead.
Dante Exum hit his first 7 shots from the field. That was just lovely. Dante Exum, man. If you want to drive the narrative that Nico Harrison is a genius, then Exum is your best argument, man. It was such an afterthought when he was added to this roster, and look at these last few games. What was it? It was something that Bally put up on the screen. A stat. Let's see. It was since December 8th. Dante Exum leads all guards in field goal percentage in the NBA at 62%.
That's wild. He finished 8 of 10 tonight. He hit his first 7, and then Kidd had to put him back in the game because the trying to think, someone in the chat, or it wasn't in the chat. In fact, it might have been Mavs Moneyball contributor SJ saying the G Leaguers, which just killed me. There was a point in the fourth quarter, the Mavericks got up. I need to go look at what the score was. It was something like 133 or something, and then the Mavericks got up to 134 points and Kidd basically clears the benches. And this is it's 133. They scored those points. Jaden Hardy makes 25-foot 3-pointer at the 8:19 mark. Between the 8:19 mark and the just scrolling down the game log, between the 8:19 mark and 3:26, the Mavericks scored 1 point. And that's with all the, essentially the scrubs, just to be quite candid.
Yeah.
And Kidd called a timeout, and he never really, we mess with, I don't know, we don't mess with Kidd. We accuse Kidd of not coaching a lot. And he coached. He got really pissed, very pissed. And I just want to say, if Jason Kidd, if you're listening to this during the times when you troll Mavs media, I just want you to know that very pissed off Jason Kidd is my jam. I think it's hilarious. Again, guys, sorry for the dog barking. He gives no shits that I'm on a podcast.
Yeah. Okay. So he had his coaching moment. What do you think? What do you think from a coaching perspective of your second round draft pick that everybody's very curious about? Very high, not second round. Omax.
Yeah, Omax was late first round, so that's fair enough.
Late first. I'm sorry. That's okay. So what do you think about him going for 20 in Houston and then somehow riding the bench the entire first half the next night?
I'm okay with it because I think you want to put Omax in a position to succeed. Omax got all his points last night on hustle opportunities, and if he's not in the place where he can run the offense, or not run the offense, but be like that right cog in the offense where he's doing the things that he can do, I don't want to put him in a position to fail. I don't necessarily think he's the kind of guy to really let missed shots phase him, but it's one of these things that I feel I like the way they've treated him, because it's game 29, game 30. If we're talking game 50 and he hasn't really done anything different, then maybe it's up for more criticism. But with the way Hardy progressed last season, I have to, and the way Lively looks right now, I just have to kind of give Kidd and the coaching staff the benefit of the doubt.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. There was, if going back to Exum, there was one play in the second quarter, and this was before he had really started to hit a bunch of shots. I think he only had 2 points at this point, but that long outlet pass in the second quarter to Timmy Hardaway streaking down the court, and he just throws down this vicious dunk. But it was Exum seems to me like the only guy who I just love the way he makes things happen.
Sure.
You know, he forces the issue offensively, and even, you know, at that point he wasn't really on fire scoring yet, but he always finds a way to make things happen. And I just love the way this guy's playing.
So I hope you haven't listened to our podcast, because as a Mavs Moneyball contributor, I would think it weird that you listen to the podcast of the website that you is affiliated with. But I have described Dante Exum the way Jack Donaghy in 30 Rock describes the Trivection oven, where Dante Exum is the third heat. He's the thing that really makes it all work. Kidd apparently shout out to Harold in the comment. Harold says that Jason Kidd says that he'll remain a starter moving forward, which is fascinating, because he can, that sometimes they put him in like the power forward slot when not like slot, but it's like 3-guard thing. Stop barking at me? I cannot help you. I know you really want Josh Green to play, Huck, but I can't. He's injured. It's very important that our man Dante Exum play. Who is just absolutely incredible. I've been really thrilled with all of it. I'm glad to see that he's had this workout this way, because former Spurs front office guy Dennis Lindsay was probably the deciding factor in Exum coming over and been playing with the Mavs. So I'm really pleased that it works.
Yeah, and the other guy is AJ Lawson. Out of nowhere. Don't really know what to make of this guy just yet. The last 2 games have been nice. It's me as someone who in our preseason, when you said who's the player that you're excited to see grow or take the next step or something, for a guy who picked Jaden Hardy, like, I think Jaden Hardy might take the next step in his development. That's not happening at the moment. But the end of the bench guys like Lawson, it just gives me the same feeling that I got in the last 16 or 20 games last year, thinking about Hardy, No,
I do. And the thing about, and let's just be clear here. I didn't talk about Hardy last night, but I wrote about Hardy. I was not on the podcast last night. And if anybody read my recap, I excoriated Hardy. Hardy played entitled basketball last night. Didn't see enough of him tonight to really judge him, so I don't want to be too harsh on him. But the thing that Hardy did last year that he's not doing this year, in my opinion, is playing balls to the wall every time he's on the court. Under-controlled, but extremely hard basketball. That is the thing that Lawson is doing. Lawson is playing like a madman when he's on the floor. And he was on the floor during that incredible comeback run against Oklahoma City. Yes, he missed a clutch 3, but he had made a couple. Yes, he challenged Chet Holmgren for some reason. Sometimes we lose our minds. It's okay. Like, it looks like the Jack Skellington, so I can understand why you'd want to go at him. I do, but don't do it. He's really good at basketball. But I've really loved what Lawson has brought to the table. I have. Though Dang in the chat says I'd really like to see more of Dexter Dennis. And I get why, because Dexter last night was doing the same thing, just playing really, really hard. And so Dela Cruz, Gian Dela Cruz says Hardy is overthinking. That's a great take. I really do think there's something to that. Like, I refer to the scene, like the halftime scene in The Replacements a lot, about where they're talking about quicksand and what athletes do when they just try. Like, Hardy is forcing the issue. And what was so nice about Hardy in that Clippers game is he just shot the ball. There was no dribbling. It was catch and shoot. And I think the Mavericks have to put him in the position to catch and shoot. Like, stop asking him to do stuff where he play makes. He can't do it. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
There was one point also late in the second quarter when AJ Lawson was trending in the United States. So I feel like he must have been doing something damn good for that to happen.
Well, that also might mean that no one is on Twitter anymore, but I'm gonna enjoy it.
It's only Mavs fans.
That's right. So, all right, let's look ahead a little bit. The Mavericks play a Christmas Day game against the Phoenix Suns. Back when they announced this was really exciting, but the Suns kind of suck. That said, I am really looking forward to this game. It's a late game, which I normally hate, but on Christmas Day, 9:30 start time, you will have had your fill of family time. If you're like, my wife will probably stay up and watch the game with me, but my parents will have gone home. It'll be nice to watch Luka. We'll see what present he gives his son, Devin Booker. And maybe they can talk about how Booker feels about no longer being the only child. I can't wait for this game because I think these two teams, particularly if Kyrie plays, he seems to like to play against Kevin Durant. Like, we could have like 130 to 135 point game.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. You always get up for a Suns game. I think the last two Mavs games that I've been to in person just happened to be against the Suns. And in both of those games, Devin Booker just went ridiculous on us. And, any reason that you hate the Spurs is good enough for me, or that you hate the Suns is good enough for me. That's my reason, is that he has ruined 2 straight Mavs games of mine. But
Booker is such a fun player to hate because he's so good. He deserves it. He's not like Sohan, who I think sucks. Again, we're just going to emphasize that point. Sohan sucks. Booker is just an incredible basketball player. That the jokes about him sort of write themselves when he's bad. I mean, but I just like watching him. And again, Durant, I don't know how old you are, but I was like my first year out of college when Durant was at Texas. I was at Texas when he was at Texas. Yeah. He was appointment viewing in a way. I think Zion might be the next athlete that was like that for me. Like, watching Kevin Durant was so amazing, and I just really relish the opportunity to watch him play basketball. I do. Yeah. So, yeah. He hasn't lost much, I mean, the way he's playing, it almost makes me. I wish people would talk about him at 39 the way they talk about LeBron this season, right? Because what Durant's doing is more impressive than people don't like Durant. That's the thing, and where I find LeBron James like astoundingly corny. I mean, tonight he's tweeting about why can't guys go into the Basketball Hall of Fame while they're still playing, and it's like someone. I read a theory once that LeBron. I read a theory once that LeBron James would be considered 50% cooler if he never had a cell phone. And there's an argument to be made similar to KD, because KD is like online all the time and he says weird shit and he seems to smoke a lot of weed and be kind of like, he's like kind of a sad guy, which, I mean, that can be relatable. I like him. Yeah, his post game pressers where he's got that hoodie, like just like he's doing this number into the microphone, almost. I like beating him. I'm just seeing right now. Apparently, Luka Doncic gave his teammates bikes for Christmas. What the fuck? Like, I need bicycles? Yeah, like actual bicycle. Like Tim Hardaway was. I found a video from Brad Townsend of him just riding down the hallway in a bike, and I'm just like, what? What is going on? I love the NBA is so stupid, and I love it. I cannot express how much I love it. All right. The dog will not stop barking. Too much barking on the podcast tonight. I really apologize to everyone. My house is simply utter chaos between two dogs, two small children, my wife letting me continue to do this as best as possible. If anybody really wants to know how my week went, I got a vasectomy on Tuesday. I blew a car tire out yesterday. And then today my refrigerator died. And so we've just had a comedy of errors at this point, to where the fact that I'm not like super, I'm just, as I was telling our staffer, Isaac, I just laugh at how ridiculous, like sometimes life is just ridiculous. Like you can't get mad. You're just like, dumb shit happens time and time again. I didn't die. The vasectomy hurt. Not too bad, but it wasn't great. And then I didn't die in the car accident. And then I apparently have, I didn't eat any spoiled food. It's just been, so it's like to see, and then the Mavericks lose that horrible game yesterday, and then they lose the game against Clippers. It's just been kind of a week. And so to end the week, on a beatdown of the Spurs feels really good. And then we're going to come back and watch them beat the Phoenix Suns. I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. So
yeah.
Matt, we have 5 people named Matt at the Mavs Moneyball website. We're going to invite Mr. Martinez back on the show at some point. Did you have fun?
Oh man, this was great. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, you're absolutely fantastic for pinch hitting last minute. We appreciate you. Trying to think if I want to know anything else. I can't really think of anything else.
You know what? If there was one thing, there was a comment when we were lauding AJ Lawson like we were. It is year 6, and here we are talking about which former G Leaguers Luka looks good playing next to. Is this that was fan 123 in the comments who said that? So what's your take? To bring us back to earth in our AJ Lawson discussion, that's what fan 123 had to say.
I mean, the year 6 thing is something we've talked about quite a lot, because it's frustrating that it took 3 years, 4 years for the Mavericks to realize that they tried to build too quickly. But you can do one of two things. You can look forward, or you can look back. And I look back in states of rage, but I try not to. I just can't help it sometimes. Where they are now, it's fun. I mean, what are they? They're 17 and 12. If you would have told me 17, like that's great. Yeah. It's great. I kind of hoped that they would be near 500 by the new year. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That sets me right. Yeah. I mean, this is more fun watching Mavs than we've had in a few years. So yeah, definitely.
Doe asks, he hopes that Josh is okay. Josh went to go see Godzilla -1. He got the opportunity. I told him to go do that. And again, Jeff Gatlin said in the chat, TMI Kirk. Yeah, I'm sorry. Shit happens. I've kind of lost my mind. It's Christmas in 2 days. I haven't wrapped any gifts. Like there's just so much stuff to do. And here I am wasting time on a podcast. Yeah. But I really enjoyed talking to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll be hanging out on Monday night, Christmas, for anybody who wants to join. Thanks so much for hanging out with us, guys. We'll be back Monday. Everybody have a great Christmas Eve and great Christmas if you celebrate. Otherwise, we'll talk to you on Monday. Have a good day, guys.
Happy holidays.
Go Mavs!